Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Let's Be Real. I'm your host, Joe Mambu, and I'm here with two special guests today, Cheyenne Finch from Bantu Centric and my main man, AJ. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing really, really well, and I feel honored to be on your show today. Looking forward to contribute any way possible.
Oh, no doubt. We got much to talk about today. I see, first of all, we got to address that Patriots hat, though. What's going on with that?
Lifelong Patriots, man.
We talked about it. I thought you were going to take it off. What happened?
No, never take it off. That's disrespectful.
We got a dress code here. You can't come in here like that.
If anything, you're a Giants fan. You guys beat us twice, so if anything, you should be happy that I'm wearing it. If anything,
that doesn't make sense. That just makes it even more disrespectful in my presence.
Oh man, listen, I'm a lifelong Patriots fan. Obviously Brady's gone, but what we did in that 20-year run, it will never be duplicated.
And I almost wore my Giants shirt today too. I should have worn it. I almost did it.
Ain't no love for Green Bay up in here?
No. No.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
We're in New York, bro. What you doing? What you doing?
Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to Let's Be Real. This is episode 109, and it's Inside the Bubble. Basically, it's some topics that's going on with the NBA bubble recommencing the season. And the first thing we want to talk about is the Jimmy Butler thing. So if you don't know, Jimmy Butler went nameless on his NBA jersey of the Saturday night contest versus the Denver Nuggets. He opted not to go with a name on the back of his jersey, which wasn't approved by the league, and they made him switch jerseys before the game started. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like, the NBA kind of dropped the ball on this by telling Jimmy to change his jersey, or do you feel like because it wasn't within the rules that the NBA was justified in doing so, what they did?
Personally, I think the NBA definitely overstepped. At first, when I first heard it, I thought he just came out with a blank jersey, so I was very confused. So because I'm like, hey, they kind of need your number to be able to do stats and stuff. But no, he still had his number, so they still know who he is. They can still point him out on the court. He just had a blank jersey. And I read that his reasoning behind that is because this is who he would be if he wasn't an NBA player, which is valid. Like, he wouldn't be this big basketball star. He would just be another black man on the street. Yeah. So his message was completely valid. And the fact that the NBA is almost in a way censoring the messages that are allowed on the jerseys it defeats the purpose of the message, of the movement. Like, you can't choose what people can and cannot say, or how they can and cannot feel according to what works for the league.
That's true. AJ, how you feeling about
it? I saw the headline. Listen, I agree in terms of Jimmy's stance from that if he wasn't playing basketball, he'd just be another person. I agree with that. It's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the NBA is his place of employment. And so with him going in there, you could still make your voice heard. But at the same time, you should also, I believe, abide by the stipulations that go with your place of employment. It doesn't take away from his stance, and I support his stance in terms of, the treatment of black men and women, and going after those who've committed injustices. At the same time, with it being his place of employment, that there are guidelines that you have to abide by, and you're still able to make your voice heard. I would go with that position.
But he wasn't being disrespectful, though. He just wore a blank jersey. Like, I'd understand if he came out with a message and there was cussing in it, there was something really vulgar and inappropriate, and they're like, yo, we got children in the stands, you can't do that. Like, that message, I understand it being like, this is your place of employment, you can't do that. But to come out in a blank jersey and to just say, like, this is how I would feel if I didn't work here, like, that doesn't feel disrespectful. It feels like a valid message. And to me, them trying to silence him is almost the same as when they tried to silence Colin Kaepernick, because he didn't do anything disrespectful or vulgar. He just took a knee. He just said, I'm not going to stand for the national anthem. And I felt like that was a very respectful way to get his message across. And for the NBA to be like, no, you can only do these very few approved messages, shows that they had a whole meeting and they tried to find a way that would make everybody happy so that they're not like strongly one way or the other. They're just like, yeah, we want to support you, but in our own way.
Yeah. So this is the thing, Cheyenne, I do kind of agree with you a bit, right? And I agree with AJ at the same time. So the thing is with that is that before the NBA season started, right? You know, the NBA is a bit progressive, a bit more progressive than other leagues when it comes to, you know, black and brown issues, social injustice issues, right? They want to make sure, they want to demonstrate that they're with us because the NBA is 75% black people, right?
Right.
The thing is, before the NBA season started, there was 29 messages that were approved by the league, right? This was agreed upon the NBA and the Players Association, which Chris Paul is president of. So Jimmy Butler knew, right? Jimmy Butler knew beforehand, like, hey, this message wouldn't be approved. And, you know, I agree to the certain point. Listen, the reason why he didn't have a name on the back of his jersey because, like, he's any other black man. The only thing is that he's in the spotlight and he's using his platform to show that, hey, I'm a nobody. If I didn't dribble this basketball, they would look at me just like they look at y'all, look at us, right? So, but the problem is like, yo, it is a place of employment, right? And before the NBA season started, everything was hashed out about the approved messages that players can use on the back of their jersey. Right, Jimmy Butler is a little different. Jimmy Butler is a little eccentric. He kind of does what he wants to do. He likes to go against the grain, and I love Jimmy for that. But listen, it's one of the things you do have to kind of follow the rules because I think the NBA does do a really good job in making sure that black people are heard, right? That we are aware, that they are aware of the issues that's going on. And Jimmy Butler knew, but Jimmy Butler wanted to do what Jimmy wanted to do. But I love Jimmy's response into the fact that the reason why he put on his, you know, he put on his regular jersey now was because the team needed him. So Jimmy Butler understands, right? Like, it's
still a place of work. He still has a job to do.
Yeah.
But he also got his message out there because they did say that he brought this up prior to the game that he wanted to wear the blank jersey. So he didn't just surprise everybody and come out on the court blank jersey. He did say, this is what I want to do. And though they told him it wasn't approved, he went and did it anyway. And then he switched to his approved jersey. But the world has now seen it. So he got his message out there. He did what he came to do.
That's what I loved about it, right? Because even if you didn't get to wear it as long as you wanted to or got to do it, like the fact that we're talking about it is awesome enough.
He did his job.
He did his job.
And it draws, if anything, it draws more attention to the cause because now, you know, the people, a lot of people that we know, especially the areas where we're from, they look up to these stars. You know, I see what LeBron. Well, these kids, my students, they love LeBron.
Yeah,
though I'm a Kobe fan, but
same here.
They love the Chris Pauls of the world, the Steph Currys of the world, Steph Currys of the world. So when they turn on the television, they're home too, and they haven't gone back to school yet.
Yeah,
and they see a player taking a knee, that gives them an opportunity to understand the issues. Versus, I prefer the kids seeing that than turning to CNN or MSNBC and Fox and hearing, you know, different points of views from people that really don't look like them, and they can take that and twist it for their benefit, for their ratings. Where when you have someone that looks like them who plays a sport that a lot of these kids play or want to play, then it draws more attention to the cause.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Honestly, I'm a person that believes like in times of like trouble or like times of great stress like we're going through right now, there should be a reprieve. There should be like a moment where you can kind of go back into normalcy. And it doesn't mean that you forgot everything that's going on. We still have our social justice issues. We still have Corona. We still have everything going on. But we can't focus on that all the time or else we'll go insane.
It's draining.
Yeah, and people have definitely missed their sports since like it was announced everything was canceled. Like you can't go to these games in person and like get your snacks like you used to, get your beer like you used to, hang out with the family, with your friends like you used to. You can't do what you used to. So they're trying to find a way to still keep that sense of normalcy, in a way that's safe for everybody, which I respect and commend. Yep. And I like that they're still kind of bringing attention to the social justice issues and making sure everything is safe and clean and like everybody is protected during this time, while also giving us a sense of entertainment. So that way we're not completely without the things that we're used to.
That's true.
And we have a minute to kind of just take a breath and go back into like who we are and what we like to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think everything in life is a balance, right? You never get too high or too low. And I think the NBA being back does justice because, like you said, they are bringing these issues to light, you know, with the Black Lives
Matter. And sports
Matter
stimulate the economy. Like,
yeah, most definitely.
We need them.
You know, so I'm glad that it's back. I don't think it really takes away. I respect the players who are the Suns, and they had the worst record. But the Suns are red hot since the NBA came back, man. They're 5-0. They still have to do a little bit to make the playoffs, right? They have to do a play-in tournament style game as well. But some other teams have to lose for the Suns to make that. How do you guys feel about the Suns? Is this just like a fluke thing? Is this just Devin Booker is like in his bag now? Like, I mean, how are you guys feeling about this run by the Suns?
Listen, man, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a lifelong Lakers fan.
Oh, my man. Okay,
I'm a lifelong
on the show more often.
You know, I'm a lifelong Lakers fan, so I go way back. Shaq, Kobe, Elvin Campbell, Nick Van Exel, way back.
Yeah, word.
But I'm gonna say this: Phoenix is hot right now. I mean, the beauty about playing in Orlando, with them playing in Orlando, there's no home court advantage.
It's not, man.
So it's like everybody comes out and plays, and anyone can catch fire at any time.
Yeah.
But I do believe come playoff time, when it comes down to, you know, experience during these long playoff runs, I think the more experienced teams, the Milwaukee's, the Lakers, the Celtics, you know, the more experienced ball clubs, I don't see Phoenix holding up. I mean, what they're doing right now is really nice.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, but I just don't know when it comes to playoff basketball if they'll have that same intensity, seeing how LeBron has been to the finals, what is it, 9?
Yeah, like 9 times.
3 times. And then you have an Anthony Davis, you know, with the length that team has, and then you have some other experienced ball clubs. I think it's like playing regular season basketball. You have certain teams, they're gonna win games, they're gonna put up points. Yeah. But then when you have to go 7 games, the more experienced team, a team that's been there, they know what it takes to win. I don't know if Phoenix holds up, but I will say this. One thing I could give them is this: not having to travel.
Yeah.
I think it could play in their favor. It can play in their favor, but I'm not going to declare the Phoenix Suns being the NBA champions.
No one's saying that.
I'm not going that far, but you have to give credit where credit's due. They're hot. I mean, it is what it is. You have to respect what they're doing. But I really believe down the stretch, you know, when you have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, guys who's been tried and, you know, and proven, and there's other ball clubs, 2 more experienced ball clubs who've had deep playoff runs.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix
games, their next 3 games is against Oklahoma, right? Obviously, Chris Paul's an MVP candidate. Philadelphia, where Ben Simmons is now leaving to get surgery, so he's not going to be playing. And Dallas, which, you know, Luka Doncic has been playing insane, right? But Phoenix has a chance to go 8-0. We obviously know the Blazers lost the other night against the Clippers, in which Patrick Beverley and Paul George was making fun of Damian Lillard in that scenario. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Devin Booker right now is high. I don't know if you guys seen that game where it was the Suns versus the Clippers. Now, to me, what I see, and this is why I kind of agree with Cheyenne, is that the Clippers are the hottest team in the league, which is crazy because as a Laker fan, it hurts me to say that.
God, remember they were like babies, like
right?
They were always, until they win a title, they'll always be babies to me. I mean, Clippers.
Listen,
I remember I went to see a Lakers game in person, and the Clippers ran out, and I was like, "What is this?" Where's the Lakers?
Listen, I'm telling you, it's the time, and you look at it like this: the Lakers are a great team, right? But the Lakers, they're 2 stars. The problem is that the teams that are too good get complacent because they know they're too good. They feel like they could turn it on anytime.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is like now it's reported that LeBron James and Anthony Davis aren't doing shoot-arounds, right? So the Lakers are dead last in 3. This hasn't been a thing that just happened in the bubble. This is something that happened prior to the bubble where they're not a really great three-point shooting team. Obviously, that's going to change a little bit with J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters being there now, with the absence of Avery Bradley. But the Lakers aren't a great three-point shooting team. Anthony Davis gets hot, but then he fades in the fourth quarter. LeBron James is putting too much of the onus on Anthony Davis, right? And then if you look at that Lakers team is really top heavy, right? You have 2 of the top 5 players. You have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, right? Outside of that, you ain't got much because JaVale McGee, we know him from Shaq and the Fool. You know what I'm saying? Well, Dwight Howard has revitalized his career, but he's asked not to do as much as he used to back in the day, right? But J.R. Smith, if you're telling me the Lakers can go ahead and turn it on anytime with, the Henny god, J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, like that's a little different. You know what I mean? Where the Clippers is more deep with Montrez and Chicken Wing Lou. Do.
Okay.
Playing games for the teams that are like kind of close, may have the same record because of division and whatnot. They'll have a playing game, kind of like, like a March Madness type thing. And then that will have the playoff seeding in the, East and West. So that's how it is. But let's touch on Damian Lillard a little bit. Now, we all know it usually is Dame time. And when it's Dame time, that means you done, right? That's the reason why Paul George is now in L.A., and it's the reason why now Russell Westbrook is in Houston, because Dame time shut the door on OKC, right? So there was a game against the Clippers a couple nights ago that Dame missed 2 free throws. The Clippers ended up winning that game, but Paul George and Patrick Beverley proceeded to mock Damian Lillard as he missed those free throws. Now, there's some beef with those two, as we all know. The reason why Paul George is not in OKC anymore, because the last time Paul George was in an OKC uniform, he got Dame time hit on him, right? You remember Dame, he hit that 3, and Paul George said it was a really bad shot. So I guess Paul George and Pat Beverly got a little bit of revenge because they both played for the Clippers and they beat the Blazers. How are you feeling about that? Dame, how do you feeling about that whole situation between Dame Lillard and Paul George and Pat Beverly?
AJ, I'm going to let you rock on this one.
I read along the lines he had, I think, tweeted. That's why he keep moving around, something like that. That's what Dame had tweeted.
Listen, he ain't lying. When I read that tweet, I was like, yo, people don't talk real like that anymore. And Dame Lillard was talking some real shit.
He was talking. I mean, I've never viewed Paul George as a superstar. I've always viewed him as a Scottie Pippen type of player.
I could agree with that.
You put him alongside a star like a Kawhi Leonard, he will shine, because we saw when Paul George was in Indiana, he could never get past LeBron, even when they would be up 2-1. And this is our year against Miami, and they would choke, whether it'd be in 6 or 7 games. So with PG, I never saw PG as that guy. So I mean, when you're not that guy, you don't want to go after a guy like Damian Lillard, who leads this team, even though I think he'll never win a championship in Portland with that team. Yeah,
I agree.
But
I mean, the Clippers and the Blazers, just to see if Dame could do it again, because it'll be different this time. You know what I mean?
The Clippers?
Listen, that's what I'm saying. If he does it against the Clippers, Paul George can never say anything ever again in his career, ever. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you this. If it was like college basketball, the NCAA tournament, 1 and done, okay. But if it's best of 7, I don't see it going 5 games. Nah, with against the Clippers.
Listen, that backcourt in Portland dangerous, man. They could heat up.
And then what happened against Golden State last year?
Well, no, listen. Golden State.
The last year before that.
Listen, Golden State arguably is the greatest basketball team of all time. One time I went to go see them.
Of all time?
Of all time, arguably. Think about it. I'm talking about the Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors.
Nah.
Who would be better than them?
The 96 Bulls?
Listen. It depends on the rules, right? It depends on the rules.
The 86 Celtics?
Listen, but we're not even talking about the 2000, 2001 Lakers. We're all Lakers fans.
Exactly.
But listen, that Golden State team is dangerous, man. That's a dangerous team.
As a Lakers fan, how can you call any other team the greatest of all time? Like, how dare you?
Look, Kobe's the greatest player of all time. That's what I will say.
I did not come onto your show to be disrespected like this.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, that Warriors team is dead. So anybody who is beating, if you're beating that Golden State team like the Raptors did last year, it had to be injuries, right? To the point where,
definitely.
To the point where it was, if you had Klay Thompson, they still could have won. That's how dangerous that Golden State Warrior team is. Now they don't got Kevin Durant. Listen, it's in the history books that the Raptors won that championship. Mm-hmm. Well, it could have been a different story if Klay and KD was part of that championship, that team last year. I just want to touch a little bit. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, right before we head off, how do you feel about Draymond Green talking about Devin Booker, right? Do you consider it tampering? Because Draymond Green said on TNT, he was like, I guess he's like a part-time analyst. He was saying that Devin Booker is a great player and he needs to get out of Phoenix. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like that's kind of tampering? Because you got to remember, Draymond to us on YouTube, Let's Be Real Sportscast. Check out the LBRS Sports blog where Big Sherm does a good job in between episodes providing dope content. And Instagram as well. Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys jumping in because it was amazing. It's fun. I hope we do it again. And that's another episode in the bag. Peace.
Yeah, anytime.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.